What is up, Copy Squad? Coming to you live from Delray Beach, Florida. I'm outside the Capital One Cafe again today, and I am going to address 3 shortcuts on how to make the old seem new again. So I got this comment, or I got a question in an email. I do love the email questions. I think it's easy fodder for content, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I almost recommend, like, if you're having trouble coming up with content for your thing, your best bet might almost be to be just producing new content and getting in front of more people so that you can get more questions, because it seems like I've got a queue of questions at this point because my channel keeps growing and I just keep getting more questions. I might have to go live twice a day just to get these questions all knocked out in time. But yeah, maybe the solution to not having enough content is to make more content and see if you can drum up more questions from new followers. Okay, so I'm kind of just stalling here while I wait for people to get on. Hey everybody, I see you. Thanks for joining. So what we're going to talk about is making the old seem new again. And this guy was specifically asking about covered calls. And I think this was just an example. So he's in the financial publishing niche, he's a copywriter, and he's like, okay, how do I make covered calls seem like new and exciting, which is like a trading strategy for options. And he says, you know, it's like an old basic way to trade, so like, how do I handle that? Well, first, let's talk about why you need to handle that, okay? So when it comes to copywriting and sales, you need to understand that copywriting is a language, okay? Copywriting is not a how-to. We're not putting together a piece of furniture. We're communicating at an emotional level, and newness it's like probably number one super most important thing in the planet, because if someone's like reading your offer or sales pitch or whatever, and they get the feeling that they've seen this product before, they've tried something like this before, they will not pay attention. Okay, so I preach like 4 main principles that you need to cover in your copywriting and sales, and I use the mnemonic device now. It's called NESB. Okay, and I call these the big 4. It's new, easy, safe, and big. Okay, you got to communicate that in all of your writing, and I do think new is absolutely paramount. I'm writing a book on the language of copywriting to help you communicate directly to readers' emotions using the subtext of copywriting instead of the actual words, not a how-to. You can go to kylethewriter.com/spike if you're interested in getting more information about that book. It should be coming out in a couple weeks, actually. I'm making pretty good progress in revisions right now. So what's important is the big 4. Okay, covered that. Okay, so the way I am going to address this is there's 3 tricks, 3 shortcuts to make it an old thing seem new. And I got these tricks, I think I got it from Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. And I might put a little affiliate link. Look for an affiliate link in the description after I'm done with this live. You can go to Amazon and buy that, and I'll get like 10 cents, I think. So I got this from that book, and basically what it comes down to is, thanks, Stephanie, for dropping the link there for people. I got this idea from the book, and it really originates, like how to make old things new comes from your USP, your unique selling proposition. So the question is like, okay, I'm doing covered calls. So what's unique about that? How do I make that new? That's basic. Everybody sells covered call strategies. It's not a big deal. But here's the 3 ways you do that. You got to find a unique mechanism. So there's 3 types of mechanisms that you can find. The first one is the actual mechanism. So a mechanism is like some sort of unique thing that your product does that other products don't do. So a good example of this would be like you have an actual algorithm for your covered call stock picking system, or you have an actual proprietary strategy, or you have a patented piece of software. That's an actual mechanism that's unique to that covered call strategy, okay? So that's an actual mechanism. It's probably one of the rarest ways to market or develop a mechanism. And then I think another good one, I think I'll leave it at that. It's like really obvious, easy answers. Okay, so that's mechanism 1. Next, mechanism number 2 is going to be what's called the unspoken mechanism. So I think a really easy example for that. So an unspoken mechanism is a mechanism that is within probably all covered call strategies, but nobody's really talking about. I got 2 examples off the top of my head. The first one would be the It's Toasted campaign for Lucky Strike cigarettes. I saw this in Mad Men. I don't know if it was a real thing or not, but so basically what happened was they were trying to come up with a way to sell cigarettes when the FDA said you can't use any health claims ever again in your advertising. So like, how do we make our cigarettes different? So they started talking through the process of how they make their cigarettes, and in the process, the CEO was saying, okay, then we toast it, and then we do this, and then Don Draper, the star of Mad Men, is like, wait, you toast it. And he goes to chalkboard and he writes, "It's toasted," and he underlines it. And the CEO's like, I like it. And then his son is like, but everybody toasts their cigarettes. You know, everyone toasts their tobacco before. And he's like, yeah, but nobody's talking about it, right? That's the unspoken mechanism. That's mechanism number 2. I got one more example for you on that. The other one is by, I think I read this in Joseph Sugarman's book, the Adweek Copywriting Handbook. And he, I think it was there, he was listing an example about selling fire detectors. And they were going through the construction of a physical fire detector, a smoke alarm, whatever you want to call it. And they got down to the nitty-gritty, and they decided to advertise that it's got gold-plated connectors in it to make it ultra-receptive or something like that. And the truth is, all smoke alarms or fire detectors have gold-plated receptors or connectors or whatever. There's nothing different about it. So in your covered call strategy, find one thing, like go look at all the other covered call strategies in your market, and find one thing that they're not talking about. Like, can you execute it in 3 clicks? Yeah, you can execute every covered call trade in 3 clicks, but this is the only one talking about the 3-click strategy to minimize your losses and collect maximum gains, right? So, boom, there's your unspoken mechanism. It's the same as every other covered call strategy, but you just give it the unspoken mechanism, 3-click strategy or something like that, right? That also, what else could be in the covered call strategy? That's kind of going to lead a little bit into mechanism number 3, which is the transubstantiated mechanism. So the transubstantiated mechanism is basically the classic, just give an old thing the new name, okay? But whenever you're giving an old thing a new name, you still want to have, you don't want to just slap like, for instance, let's talk about dieting. I don't want to just slap the special diet on this new diet that's actually just a regular diet, nothing unique about it. So I think a really great example is the South Beach diet. It's like one of my favorites. The South Beach diet was originally marketed as the modified carbohydrate diet, okay? And it did not sell, it's not sexy. So what they did is they simply transubstantiated it. They took the modified carbohydrate diet and they gave it a new name. They call it the South Beach diet, right? So it's basically like a big idea. So you can just take what is common and unsexy and just give it a cool name. A good example of this would be the Night Trader promo. Basically, the Night Trader promo I reviewed in my YouTube channel, you can go over all the system promos that I did on my YouTube channel, and those are pretty much all transubstantiated mechanisms because they're basically all options trading services. They're all the same thing. They all have different titles and completely unique sales letter for each because they basically took what is a very common thing, options trading strategies, and they gave it a unique spin. The Night Trader, for instance, trades after hours. I think that might be stocks. It might not be options. But the Night Trader just trades after hours. Nothing really fancy there. The Money Zone was one of my favorite promos. And I think that trades... I actually am not 100% sure, but I think it trades the S&P instead of trading stocks. And like the headline is, I'm done with stocks, right? And he's going to trade like S&P 500 ETFs or something like that instead. And he makes a whole promo about this. And it's like, that's really not very unique. You're trading ETFs, right? So he just called it the Money Zone. And the Money Zone was basically like, okay, we're going to come in trading an option on Monday. And if our option goes in the money, which is a term for stock trading, meaning that it went up in value, and it's sellable or it'll make you some money, then we call that the Money Zone. They just called it something weird, right? That's nothing new. That's nothing fancy. It just called it something cool. Another example I've got for you is called the 42-day retirement plan, which is for Financial we run. It's an options trading service. Now this is kind of cool because all this is just trading on earnings season's results. So you try to get in before the earnings season announcement and hope that your stock pops in value. And you buy options on that stock before the earnings season. The reason it's called the 42-day retirement plan is earnings season usually lasts about 42 days. Not fancy, it's just a transubstantiated mechanism. You just took an old thing, trading during earnings season, and give it a new name. I want to come back to the South Beach diet. I don't know if I gave this a good walkthrough yet. Basically, yeah, I want to make sure that you know that the modified carbohydrate diet was unique, and they still took a unique thing and just gave it a new name. Don't just like make up something that's like not unique in any way, and like you gotta have something sort of like different instead of like just diet and exercise program and all that sort of. I don't know if that makes sense. Basically, trying to find something that and I got one more other one, an epic one. 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I've never read that book, but basically I've heard enough of people talking about it to know that all it is basically outsource. hire someone in India, or the Philippines, or somewhere where $1 goes a really long way to do all like your menial tasks, and that's it. You only work 4 hours. You create content or whatever you do. I'm not sure what it is, but then they took that idea of outsourcing, which is very dry and boring, not new, not crazy. They called it a 4-hour work week, and I believe he came up with it on the spot. I don't know. I was talking to Altucher about it, and I think he said that guy just basically just made it up on the spot, like, oh yeah, whatever, and that might be wrong. That's anecdotal evidence, but again, this is all important because the big 4 pillars of copywriting. NASB, new, easy, safe, and big. Okay, I'm writing a book about the language of copywriting. If you're interested, copywriter.com/swipe. And basically, the point is, you can't just tell people that something is new. You have to hit them emotionally that this is new. And the reason new is so important is because people want hope, right? They probably bought a million products to solve their problems, and most of them have failed. So you have to present them something new that can give them hope and inspire that this might be the thing that I've been waiting for my whole life. This might be the solution that I have been searching for over and over and over, and now here it is finally. If they think for a moment that they can categorize what you're talking about, that's it, man. They're not gonna care, because they've probably seen what you're talking about a million times before. And I highly recommend go to my YouTube channel and just see me break down system promos. I should probably make like a playlist or something for system promos, because all of those are basically just options trading service, stock trading service, nothing crazy. We took a little piece of it, right, and made it very unique, or the copywriter did if we didn't write an editorial. And that's really it, dude. I mean, there's 3. We'll recap. There's the actual mechanism. You have an actual proprietary software or patented thing, some sort of thing that's actually in your product that's unique to you. There is the unspoken mechanism, which is just talk about something that no one else is talking about. And there's a transubstantiated mechanism where you just give an old thing a new name. Okay, that's how you take the old and make it new. And basically every product on the planet does one of these 3 things. You'll find that in your USP, the unique selling proposition. Find one thing in your product, highlight it. Okay, and I'll be going over that in my book as well. So again, if you want more information, copywriter.com/swipe. That'll get you on the email list, and I'll be updating you about the progress of the book. Alright, so that's it, Copy Squad. I don't see any questions or anything like that. So thanks very much for tuning in. Someone's birthday there. Okay, that's it, guys. Peace out, Copy Squad.